Howdy ho, everybody. So welcome back to the show. It's Saturday, and boy, do I ever have some breaking news. This is big, and I did not expect to get Maverick news, Ford Ranger news, F-150 news so quickly, and related to last night's video. This was kind of called in last night's video with Marie, so if you haven't seen it, it's the 1 hour long video that we did together. So what's going on? I normally wouldn't do a video on the weekend. I try to save that time for Marie, but this is big Maverick news. So while she finishes up cooking the pizza, I'm here to tell you all about microchip shortages. And last night I called it. I said that, I suspected that the 4K with my friend's order, Tristan, who actually works at a Ford dealership, he got pushed back. He was a very early day of or next day of order for a Maverick, so all the way back in June on the first day. And he was already scheduled to be right around the 20th of February for an arrival. And well, now he contacted me, I guess Friday night he saw in the system. I didn't get this in time for the show, but I found it out today. He's been pushed back to May as well. So he's been pushed back 3 months. So in last night's show, I was kind of saying that the 4K tow package, even though there's nothing confirmed anywhere else, that the 4K tow package with the 7-pin connector, so brake controller, that this requires more microchips and that this could cause delays. And I also explained how that's why I originally speculated that the moonroof would cause delays because it had for the Bronco Sport earlier on. It was limited production, but I mentioned how on the Bronco Sport, the top is in an amazing package that does not cost nearly as much as you would think it would for everything that it comes with. So if you have an Outer Banks, it's called the Outer Banks package, and you add an Outer Banks package to an Outer Banks or a Badlands package to a Badlands, and it comes with the roof for not very much money. So that never turned out to be something that I can confirm or prove to be true. That that was just a bit of a speculation on my part. But this 4K tow package is definitely the real deal. Don't be fooled. So I can say that pretty much with almost 100% certainty, or definitely the possibilities there, if you have a 4K tow package, this definitely does require more microchips, like I've mentioned in other videos. And this is why I originally said, well, maybe the co-pilot could create delays. And I've been saying since September that the Lux packages with all the extra microchips and possibly something else in the package. Early on, I was just saying I don't know what's in that package, but it's definitely causing delays for some. I was seeing it in the system. And well, now I can say I haven't personally seen it, but I know it's the case. I definitely trust Tristan, and he's been pushed back for 3 months. So basically, what can you do? This is simple. If you only got the 4K tow package because you said, well, maybe one day, way down the road, who knows, I guess I'll get it, it's not much money, well, maybe you could consider taking it off, which makes for a very interesting proposition, because if enough people who don't need 4K actually take 4K off, that's going to free up microchips. It'll free up microchips for Ford to actually produce more Mavericks. And it's not just about Mavericks, because now Ford has, openly, publicly said that 7 factories in total are going to be producing less vehicles than expected, and even, bigger profit margin vehicles and iconic vehicles such as the F-150, the Bronco, and the Ranger. Essentially, the Michigan factory that makes the Bronco and the Ranger definitely impacted. They'll be less produced than expected and hoped for. And the 2 assembly plants in Mexico, so less Mach-E's. Obviously, those are really high-tech vehicles taking all sorts of microchips, as well as the Ford Maverick. Sorry, just like last night, I tend to lose my voice a bit. Maybe I shouldn't have spent as much time outside having fun with the Bronco. Got the Bronco stuck, needed a second Bronco to get the first Bronco out. We'll get that footage out soon. Marie helped me with that. But let's just focus in on tonight's topic, and that's that these factories are still going to be producing vehicles. It doesn't mean that you can't order up, or if you have ordered, you're not going to get your vehicle. You are going to eventually get your vehicle, just with cutting down, reducing production because of lack of semiconductor chips. It means that everyone's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. And I had noticed this actually it's been 2 weeks on the fleet sheet. So it's a fleet sheet saying, for fleet orders, all the various Ford models, I had noticed that the Ford Ranger actually said sold out. Now the fleet sheet it's not directly correlated to customer orders. However, it can be an indicator. So this is one of those times when I can say I highly suspect. So I highly suspect, because it's on the fleet sheet, that this can definitely, may or may not, but I'd say that there's good chances that we might find out in maybe a month, maybe 2 months, that the Ranger will be, pretty much sold out, meaning that new orders definitely won't be produced as 2022s, but instead as 2023s. So I think that we're coming close to an end for Ranger production, that they'll have so many orders that they'll know that the rest of the year is all about fulfilling current orders. I think that definitely may be coming up. So if you're thinking Ford Ranger, as one of the commentators on the channel mentioned that they're on the fence, they think they're going to get a Ranger, I'd say make the move, get off the fence, and go get your Ranger while there's still time. Now, if you're on the fence about the 4K tow package and you only took it for fun, same thing for the Copilot 360. You'll probably should be considering removing those. It'll free up, probably almost certainly get you built faster, and it's going to free up some microchips. So more Fords for everyone. More Fords, more fun, more power, more cars. So let's hope that this helps out. I hope this does free up microchips. Now, I don't think that many people are going to be on the fence for the Lux package. And what's in the Lux package, it's not impossible, but it is difficult and somewhat expensive. About, 350 Canadian, so maybe about 280 American per seat to add heated seats. I have yet to find anyone who can properly do a heated steering wheel, and that's in the luxury packages. And those exterior heated mirrors, that's kind of difficult to be playing around with as well. So I don't think that very many people are going to be removing the luxury packages, because if you took them, it's probably because you want most of what's in those packages. So that's that, and it is nice to have, some information that hopefully will help you all, be ready to really know what to expect and maybe free up some microchips. So we are going to be working on the Bronco editing. So we got the Bronco relatively stuck today. We're going to go actually off-roading in trails that, are not maintained whatsoever. It's actually a sand pit, and a few people warned us like, hey, you're going to get very stuck. So Marie was pretty confident. She was feeling pretty cowboy and said, no, let's just go do it. And I said, you know what? We'll test this out in the backyard. We'll drive through the backyard, and if we don't get stuck, well, then we're going to go to our off-road location. And we got pretty stuck. We needed to take out the straps and, pull it out with the other Bronco. So I'll be getting you that footage soon. And if you haven't watched the video from the other evening, it's long, but it can be watched in, segments when you have time. But Marie was on the show, so that's always a nice treat. If you did like having Marie on the show, you can just write, get Marie on more often. And if you've made it this far in the video, please just click on, throw down the comment finisher. It helps me gauge what kind of content works for you all. And of course, if you hit that like button, it will help get this information out so that we can help out as many people as possible. And it would be really appreciated if you subscribe, because it does help feed and dress that poodle. Now, before we sign off, just a real quick recap from last night's video. I just want to mention that if you do notice your build getting pushed back a week and then maybe another week, generally what I've seen in the past for F-150s and Broncos, sometimes they'll get pushed back a week, then get pushed back 2 weeks, and then end up settling somewhere in the middle. Small pushbacks aren't really to be worried about. Now, the current Maverick that, is letting me know about the 4K package being an issue, and it's not that you won't get it. It just means it'll take a little longer. Like my source, his got pushed back a little further. But actually, originally, for a very brief amount of time, his got pushed back by only, I believe it was a few days, not quite a week. But it was a very short period of time. I think it was from the 14th of February to the 19th. But then very quickly, it got pushed back a full 3 weeks. So I'd say when you do see a small pushback, wait a few days, maybe till the next Thursday, and it's not always right Thursday morning. Sometimes it's, Thursday night or even Friday morning. So check your tracker. You can do that with Ford Vehicle Tracker. You need your VIN number, and you'll also need your order code. So I have a whole video on that. But generally, getting pushed back, like my 2 Broncos and like a whole lot of F-150s that I've seen, getting pushed back by a week or two often ends up settling. So not a big deal. I've covered that in other videos. Now microchips looks like they're causing as much problems as they did this spring. So I think that we're going to be seeing vehicles taking longer than we had recently. We had gotten used to seeing vehicles pass through relatively quickly all summer, from early summer all the way until fall. Just recently, we started seeing F-150s with microchip at plant on hold in the ETA disposition, or they get produced and, if 2-3 weeks go by and they haven't been put with a rail car number and it's written, shipped convoy, and sometimes you have to watch it. You've got to check up on it. It'll say shipped convoy number, and you're like, great, I'm in transportation. And then the next thing that will happen, and I've actually got it on a sheet right here, very quickly after, actually 4 minutes after, the system actually corrected itself and took away that shipped convoy when origin received in production. So it went from in transit back to in production. And then a few days later, on the 3rd of February, so that's about 6 days later, it got put down in release to body company. And with the secondary being released to body company at the very end on ETA disposition, it says microchip at plant on hold. So really what happened is you ended up getting a bit of a delay. So I'll be keeping you informed on all this info. I hope this video certainly has been helpful. And, just to talk numbers, I often try to use production numbers to have a great idea of what's going on. And we do see in January, between the number of Mavericks built and the number of Mavericks sold, there's a discrepancy. These days, Mavericks that arrive disappear within a few days. So the discrepancy, several hundred Mavericks that were built but then not sold, those probably are all, like I speculated last night, there's going to be several hundred Mavericks held back, missing microchips. And, today we got the news that there's factories that are going to be running not at full speed and producing less than expected. 7 factories at Ford in total. So I hope, for any of you that are watching, I hope you're not on the delayed list, but I've seen this happen before. I saw it earlier in 2021. Don't give up hope. You will get your Ford. And what's really good to know is I've seen a lot earlier on this year in the system get an ETA that ended up being 3 months later, and then pow, 1 month later, 1.5 months, 2 months later, depending on the case. Some, yes, the full 3 months, but a lot less than 3 months end up being able to get shipped. So Ford is definitely working on solutions to get these out. So I wish you all the very best of luck. Let us know in the comments what's going on with your Maverick. The more intel we have, the better this show is, because we get more of knowledge base. So let's just all help each other out, share what we know, and have the best possible weekend and weeks as possible. So I'm going to get back. I think that pizza must be about ready now. So I'll go see how Marie is doing downstairs. Have a great one. Take care.
What's that for, Dean? That for you again? Another box? Is for you? What's on it? Don't am I supposed to? Full of toys? Oh, nothing for you, Nick.